the project quiz app in our today's session. So we will be creating a quiz app which will work locally. I will add some suppose. So we thought of creating a list of screens like this. I will explain. Okay. So we will be creating few screens and we'll be implementing local database for keeping the answers and the questions, those things. And then we'll also see some best practices overall, like whatever we learned till the past sessions, in the past sessions, we will try to implement those things and we'll try to create a complete application out of that. So let us start with the setup of the project. I was just doing that, and let me resolve the errors and then I will explain all the things. Give me just 2 minutes. I will just clean up the things and then I will explain. So for today's session, I have just created a boilerplate. I will show what are the packages I have added. I have added here hooks river pod annotation, which is for state management, which we already saw previously. And then today we will also try to use the Flutter hooks as well. I'm adding that Flutter hooks package. So this is added. So these both three packages, all the three packages are used for state management. And then we have SKF Lite, which is for local storage. Then we have permission handler. This is to used to request the permissions. Like suppose I want camera permission, so I can request that, or microphone permission, photo library permission. Those permissions I can ask using the help of functions provided in this permission handler. Then we have Firebase related packages, which are Firebase core, first of all, which I mentioned that we need it. Then we have Firebase messaging, and then we have Firebase Crashlytics. So Firebase core is for the like for any package we need that, and then Firebase messaging is for push notifications we get on any application. And then we have Firebase Crashlytics. This is for our development usage when we need to get some logs. Like we can't see the debug console when we are running the application. It's running on the real device of some other users, and we are unable to connect that. So for getting the crash logs when the application is crashing or some errors happen, we need to debug those when in the production mode. So for that, we need to use some kind of logs management where we can log our issues and get the stack trace, the detailed like call stack and all those things. So we use Firebase Crashlytics for that. This will store all the logs for us. Then we have bot toast package, which is let me separate this. So this is for routing. Then we have Go Router. Then we have Bot Toast, Flutter Easy Loading, and Loading Animation Widget. These are for loaders. These below ones are for loaders to show the beautiful animated loaders while like. And then we have Bot Toast. This is for showing the snack bars, beautiful snack bars. I will just add one comment here. Snack. We can also call it toast instead of snack bar. Both are the same thing. Toast and loaders. Then we have the dev dependencies, which is first of all build runner for code generation. Then freezed and JSON serializable. Okay, I forgot the freezed annotation and JSON annotation in under the dependencies, so I will add those as well. Freezed annotation, JSON annotation. Then we have riverpod generator. For riverpod also we have generator package which generates the code using the annotations. So that's why we have added the riverpod annotation also for this. Then we have Go Router Builder for route generation. So I will also show one more package which is very useful is Flutter Gen. So this is used for generating the asset which we showed previously, showing the like image.asset. We were doing image.asset and like this image.asset and giving the path uh, hard coded like this image slash sample.png. So when we are writing these things, this is error prone, so we can also generate these files, these uh, strings. So for that, this one helps FlutterGen. It generates the code for our assets that can be image, that can be like um, colors or fonts, anything, any asset we have. And then here we just need to uncomment this one and change it to assets slash. We don't have asset directory yet, so it's giving us the warning. I'm creating the assets directory, and inside that I can create like icons, not a file, icons folder or colors folder. So these are the packages mainly we will be using for today. And if I miss something, I will add later on. So now let us go to the boilerplate code. Inside the lib, we have one second. This is not generated. Wait. Okay. So first of all, we have here one folder inside lib, which is code, and then we have app.dart, bootstrap.dart, and main.dart. So inside the bootstrap.dart, let me comment few more code which is not necessary here. Okay. So I have just created a bootstrap file which is containing the all the initialization process. Like we have some functions like this flutter error dot on error. So we can override those functions. I'm passing my like just the log function here, calling a log function, which does nothing, just prints as we have the print function. We have also a log function which has more like flexibility from the print method. So then we have widgets. This is a function which is used widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialized. This is used to confirm that okay, my all the Flutter engine, like my Flutter engine is initialized on the application on the device. So when we run a Flutter application, it what happens is we have a engine. We run a native kind of thing, and then on top of that we have a Flutter embedder or Flutter engine which attaches on top of that. So this just ensures that all the things are properly initialized. The Flutter engine is enabled now. So after that, this is needed to initialize the Firebase. If we go to the docs of Firebase, it will say that before initializing Firebase, we need to call this one. After that, we are initializing the Crashlytics. So this is a function here, init Crashlytics. This is the function for. I won't be explaining much for this boilerplate today. You can explore that from the repository tomorrow, and then if you have any doubts for this, we can discuss those in the next classes. So we are just overriding some functions for Flutter error and also uh, recording the error and passing it to the Firebase Crashlytics. Then we have just a function here, quiz app, which is returning nothing but the provider scope wrapped with the app widget. Where is the app widget? We have that in the app.dart. I will show that. So now in the init FCM, we have a function, one more function, which is init FCM and init local DB. So init local DB, I haven't done it till now. Implement. I will implement that. Then after that we have init FCM. So it is for initializing the Firebase messaging. We also say that Firebase Cloud Messaging. So that's why the name short form Firebase Cloud Messaging. I have created a helper class for that and calling these four functions from that. Push notification helper is my custom created class, and I'm calling just four functions of that here. It will set up the Firebase FCM, then we'll set up interacted message. When we click on a message we receive from the push notification, if we click on that, this is the function to handle. Then this is the background message handler and foreground message handler. When we receive a message, where we are on like the application is in background or it is in foreground. Like foreground means the app is running. And before that, we are just taking the permission. This is a permission helper. This is also my own class created. We are not taking other permissions for now. We are just taking notification permission. Okay. And then we are also requesting the notification permission using this wireless messaging. We can also skip one of them. I'm commenting this one only. This is fine to take the permission. So this is the push notification helper class. Uh, please do check out this one. If you have any query, you can just post it in the chat. This is we get everything from the documentation. It's just that. Okay, it's not generating because we have commented all the routes here. I will uncomment one of the route and will create the feature folder here. Inside that, I will create the onboarding or welcome feature. After that, we have a quiz feature. So for now, we will create the splash screen. Splash screen dot dart. Okay, now if we run the command, it should generate the routes. We have only one for now. Razak, what do you suggest? Should we also create a register and login screen and use the local DB for that before the
No,
quiz?
I guess for this example, just the
Just the
quiz
quiz part.
quiz birthdays. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let me remove the unnecessary code from there. Okay, I will open now the previous session code and will get the bottom navigation thing. For now, I'm keeping just two routes here in the bottom navigation. Bottom nav route, I'm keeping home route and the account route for now. And I will import this bottom nav screen and also uncomment this routes. So because we don't have this screens created, that's why it's giving the errors. I will quickly create the screens. Now here I will import the screens. Okay, this is a build page. I need to change it to build method. I'm running the command to regenerate the code routes. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, now our code is error free. So also we can see the errors in this tab in the VS Code. If you click on this bar here, you can see the inside the problems. We can see the errors, and we have the debug console and terminals here. I will now run the project. Okay, there's an error. Uh, this is a very common error. Assigning the iOS version. We have a pod file over here for iOS. This is iOS specific. If we go to this iOS folder, we can see where we have a pod file here. So this platform, this thing refers to what is the minimum platform we want for our project. So I need to set it to 13 because it's giving the error here. The plugin Firebase core requires a higher minimum iOS deployment version than your application is targeting. So right now it was targeting 12. So I want to uh, make it 13 because here it's saying increase it to at least 13. Now I will try to run it again. I have created some queries over here. I will use that for the local DB. Okay, the project is running now. So we haven't changed anything in the main.dart. So let us remove all the code from here and we'll just write the main function which needs to be asynchronous. Now from here I will just call the bootstrap inside that quiz app. So we have the bootstrap.dart. Inside that we have a bootstrap function which is accepting a builder, which takes a function which returns a future of widget. So here we are returning uh, this run app. So we don't need to call run app here. It's getting called here. Whatever the in the function we pass this thing, this goes to the this function goes to goes here in the builder, and then it gets called inside this run app. So we are passing quiz app, this one inside the bootstrap. So this will in return in under the hood it will call the run app, and inside that the quiz app, this one provider scope and the app. So just change the way it is getting called. Now if you can see here is a small text quiz app which is coming from the initial route we have in the app router. If you can see this in the initial location, let me remove this one for now. So here in the initial location we have route path dot initial which matches with slash route. So here we have slash screen in which it is saying quiz app, but we don't have the safe area here. So we'll include safe area. We can see the quiz app here. Now so when we run an application, we see like use an application, we see that there's a little splash screen, and then we go to the main screen. Like in YouTube, you can see the animation kind of thing, or uh, in every almost every application, we will see a simple small screen like which not small screen like full screen, but it will take 2-3 seconds in the initial, and then we'll go to the main screen. So here also we'll try to do something like that. I'm not doing some animation or adding some logo. I'm just writing this quiz app. I will try to give some styles. We can add whatever logo or whatever we need. Weight, font weight bold, and size to be 40. And we want to make it in center. So if we want to make it center, we need to remove the single child scroll view from here, because when we wrap anything with a single child scroll view, it limits our, I think I have explained this one before also, that it limits our height. So if I remove this, it will come to center, because now column, the length of the column is full screen. If you see, column has one more parameter here, main axis size. Column and row both of them have this, and the default value is main axis size dot min. If you if I do this main axis size dot min, then it will again go to the top, because now the column's height is only this much. It starts from here because of the safe area, and it ends here because inside that only text is there. So it will take only that much height which is needed for its children. So I will just remove this for now. And here inside the build method, I will call a function to, I will name it as navigate to home screen. I will create the function over here. I will call the home route dot push, and I also need the build context to push. So I will just add, take it in the parameter. So we can't directly call it here because as soon as the build function gets called, it will call this function and home route will try to push to the next screen. So this is not correctly built and we are trying to dispose it. That's a problem. And also we wanted some kind of delay also. So I will just do future dot delayed over here, duration to duration in seconds to, and then the callback function. I want to await for it, so I will add the synchronous here. Or I can do here, instead of awaiting for that, we have the callback function here, which will also get called after this duration. So I can just put it inside. And also, if you remember, we are having this warning that don't use build context across async tabs. I've already shown this previously. I need to add a check here, context dot mounted. So if it is mounted, then only we try to use the context. Otherwise, we won't. Now, if I restart, we are here in the home screen. This is the same home screen which we tried to create in the previous session. Okay, so we have a unnecessary app bar over here. So I will go to home screen and account screen and will remove that. Otherwise, I can leave that app bar inside home screen. Instead, I will go to the bottom nav screen and will remove the app bar from here. Because I also don't want the drawer over here, so I will comment that. I will remove the code for this drawer. I don't need. And then in the destination also, we will, because we are having only two routes in the bottom navigation, we will have two destinations here. Sorry, bottom navigation bar item, not destinations. So then we have, let us have some different color over here. Like, I also want to change the selected label style. Okay, I don't want this slidable transition here. Not sure why it's coming. Let us check in the app router. Okay, we need to wrap it this one. I'm changing it to build page. Yes, this works. So I will also wrap it. Page of type void and then build page. I'll just restart. Okay, now one more thing. Instead of push here, we need to use go because we don't need the route history. If we go from home to account, I don't want to go back. I want the user to only to click here to go to the other screen. So yeah, this is now ready, our home screen and the account screen. Now let us like create the body for those screens. I will focus more on the home screen to create these designs. I will try to create list of subjects, list of topics, and list of quizzes. So I will create one more file inside the core folder first for local db.dart. We'll create a class for local db. Let me open the previous session's code and will then try to use that. I will add those functions and will I also need to copy the function for show snap bar. Oh, I already have that file. Let me write it manually. If you realize that we always need to pass context from the widgets build function to everywhere. So we have one very better way of accessing the context without passing that because we are using the Go router here. I will go to app router file and will create. Okay, I have already created that here. Root navigator key. So this is a nothing but a global key of type navigator state. If you remember, we used a global key for form state of type form state. Now we are using global key of navigator state because this is accepting a global key of navigator state. Now we created the file variable for that, and we can use this variable navigator key to get the current context. So here I will, or I can write a getter over here, static final. Sorry, um, I can write that here, or not final, static current context. Root navigator key dot current context, like this. This will give me the build context, which is nullable. So I will also define the type over here, build context. Type name. So this is the block of code for get creating a getter. So we just need to define the type and then get keyword before the variable name, and after that the arrow function. We can also have the body over here like this instead of arrow. We just need to return it like this. So because it's a single line, I will just keep it as arrow function. Now instead of taking the context from the parameter, I will try to access app router dot. I need to import this one, app router dot current context. It's just one thing that we need to check is it is not null, because there may be a case that there's no current context in the root navigator key. This one, that will only be in the case of when the my app, this one, not my app for our case. Uh, 1 second. This one, the root widget which we are using. This is not yet uh, created in the screen in the application. Like, we change the app name here. So if this app this is in the main.darts run app place, and we are trying to access the context, then that root navigator key will give it as null. Otherwise we are when this application is placed in the widget tree and we are after the screen or in the screen, then it will not be null. So just for that we need to check this. So I will just reverse the condition here. If this is equals to null, I will return without doing anything. And if this is not null, I will use it with a exclamation sign. So, but I need to take the message, string message. It will not be a constant. Okay, but now I will remove this context from everywhere. We also don't have the set state. I will import the escapeflight package, and then I can use the database. Okay, I missed one more package, which is path we were using for yesterday. I show this one. So we were using escape flight and path for the local database thing. For this join also we need that path. So I will add the dependency for that path. It's added. Now I will import that. This is not needed. Escape flight API. I only need the escape flight. So instead of create books table and create authors table, today we need to create three tables which are subjects table and topic table. We have more tables. Let me show it in the queries file. So I have already created some queries here, which is for create subject table, create topics table, create quiz table, questions table, options table, and some queries for inserting some sample data into that. So what I have done, I want to have a subject table. Inside that, I want to have multiple topics, and inside a topic, I want to have multiple quizzes. And one quiz can have then again multiple questions, and one question will have multiple options. So this is the basic idea, and we are linking all those using this foreign key. Question ID, using question ID, it is linked to question table, then similarly backwards. So here I will create this subject, topic, quiz, questions, and options table. I will do db dot. So Razak, should we use the batch function over here or the transaction for this, for creating all this at once?
Use the transaction.
Transaction. Okay. I will replace it with the transaction instance, because inside it is like, it will give the error if we use the db. And I will replace this command create SQL query with the query which we have. First one is create subject query. I need to import it from that file. Now similarly I have the, after subject we have topics table, quiz table, questions table, and the options table. Okay, so next we have, let us also have a try catch over here. I will use a log function from this Dart developer library and will write the exception occurred. I will give the reference of this function. Now instead of this insert occurrent books function, I will change it to have insert sample data. And I don't want any parameter inserter. Uh, I'm I'm also creating one few variables for not variables. Let me create an enum for table names, table name, and then I will give the names as subject, topics, quiz. It's giving me some suggestion that we should use lower camel case, but because this is case sensitive, so I will just ignore this warning. Here I will get the table name dot subject dot name. To get the string from an enum, this is of if you write table name dot subject, this is a type of table name. If you write table name dot subject dot name, it will give me the string, which is this thing. This is the result I will get from writing table name dot subject dot name. Oh, sorry, I have the whole raw query here, so I just need to copy this, insert sample subject, and I need to run the transaction dot raw insert and the query over here like this. After subject, we have topic. So we have total of four topics here. I'm just copy pasting the and changing the names, variable names here. We have two quiz, two quiz, and then two question, and then four options. So insert sample data is completed. I don't need this update book. I need this get books. Not get books. I mean get subject, get topics. All the get queries here. Rajat, this name will be same, right? Subject name. Hello.
Sorry, Ayush.
Yeah, I'm asking that this subject will be this exactly same with this one, right?
Yes, yes. It should be same table name.
So Get subjects. This will fetch the all the subjects for us. Then we have get topics. Here I want to fetch the topics. Topics.id subject id. And we have name and the subject name. Razak, can you just verify once if this query is all okay?
Just wait for me. Checking. Yeah, the primary name is ID, right, in subject area.
Yes, id. This
Yeah,
one?
it's fine.
Yes. So topics dot subject id equals to subject id. Now this will fetch us the topics. I don't need any delete here. So we are just having insert queries above and then the get queries. I don't want any updation or deletion here. So after topics, we will have quiz. Select quiz. And then instead of subject ID, it will be topic ID. Topics. Topic has this name. This is good. Name is quiz. Okay. So here we have few different things in select query question dot id, question id, options dot id, options dot question id, and name. We don't have name, we have option text and is correct. Option text is correct. Okay, now this all the tables are done. Like we are getting the subject, topics, quiz questions, and options. Now let us implement a function. Uh, Let us implement the UI little bit. First of all, in the bootstrap.dart, I will call this function from local DB, which I created here, initialize database and insert sample database. So I will create a init function over here. First of all, I will create a singleton for this local DB. So for that, I need to create a private constructor, local DB dot underscore, and then the parenthesis. This is the syntax for private constructor. I need to create a static getter for this. So this will not be an equal to, it will be an arrow. Now this is a these two lines will help us to this local DB will be a singleton, because whenever we can't call local DB, create a instance of local DB directly. We need to call local DB dot instance, which will return us the instance of this local DB using the private constructor. So now I will go to bootstrap.dart and this init local DB function. Inside that, I will call local DB dot. I need to import this local DB dot instance dot. Okay, I haven't created the init function yet. I'm removing this books list from here. Init future. This will be a future of void. Now here I will call the initialize database function first of all, and I will await for that. And after that, I will call uh, insert sample data, this function. I'm not creating any buttons for that. I'm just uh, directly calling this insert sample data in the initialization process. So that will be inserted initially. Now I will call the init function over here and also await for that. So if we restart this project, we'll see the initialization process and the print statements we have written. Okay, so we have some error here. Let us check. I think this transaction will not support when we are inside this on create. So let me try with db.execute, or do we have some function over here? Oh, I forgot the await keyword over here. So let me try with restart. No such table questions. Create questions table. Let me try once with the without this uh, transaction over this local inside the on create. Razak, any idea why this is throwing this kind of error?
Just try creating one table once if it's working with the other tables. I have problems with the question table. And
Actually, after that we are
the insert
inserting
function
also.
also.
Sorry,
Check the insert function also.
inside. Let me try to rerun also till that time. I'm just deleting it once. Maybe that will resolve. So if you see the Razak, if you can see this insert query, it is saying insert into questions, and here the table name is also questions. and we are also running that before create questions. I think okay. So this is maybe the problem. We are using quiz before. Okay, it didn't give any error. I think there was some issue because the first time only half of the tables were created. So that's why. It didn't run the print statement. Oh, also we forgot to change the name here. Let us make it as quiz.tv. Restart. Okay, here it is. Database created, sample data inserted. Now, if we try to use those get functions here in the home screen. I'm removing this single. Yeah, no, I'm keeping that. Here I will write a function to get the instead of this stateless widget. Now I will use the hook consumer widget. Initial before this I like showed the widget. Now I will use the for using the river bots. Now I will use the hook consumer widget. So what is hook consumer widget? It is just like we we don't want to use the stateful widget because that has some boilerplates. If you have seen before that we create two classes there for creating a stateful widget and then right there are a lot of methods we need to override. Here we have just use state like use effect for that for init state and dispose functions. First let me import this one, and I also need to write the widget ref here. Here I will create a use state. For use state is for nothing but like for keeping some values here, and for that we need to in before I said that we shouldn't create the variables inside the build method if we don't want that to rebuild, like don't want the reinitialization. But for hooks it works differently. It manages the states internally, so we need to create that inside the build method. This is mentioned in the documentation of the Flutter hooks. And suppose I'm creating a variable for subjects list. I need to import this, import the Flutter hooks. I'm keeping it as empty list. Now I want to use the functionality of init state here. So the replacement of that in Flutter hooks is use effect. And every use kind of hooks what we are using is need like we need to write that inside the build method. So let me give an overview of Flutter hooks first, then we'll proceed. So I would recommend to read this Medium blog from here. from the documentation you will get this link, and it's just a replacement of life cycle of widget how we get in the default stateful widget of the Flutter. It's just the replacement for that, just to make these things reusable, right? Like if we write some init state, we can't make that reusable, but if we write some hooks, there are ways to make it reusable, make our custom hooks and then reuse it again and again wherever we want in just a single line or couple of lines. But if we use this stateful widget, we need to write override all the functions, all the lifecycle methods every time in all the widgets, and this is a super lengthy code. So just to reduce the length of the code and make it a bit reusable, we are using these hooks, Flutter hooks. So instead of these three methods, we have just a single use effect function that we need to write inside the build method here. This one. So here use effect accepts a function and a list of dependencies. So uh, when this function will run for the first time and for the last, like it's dependent on this list. If I give here some value, suppose subjects list, if I give that this variable here, so use effect this thing will run whatever code I will write in this place will run every time this the value of subjects list changes. So and in this return also we can return a function here. So this function will run when inside, like if you can see this one here, we have two parameters in use effect. First one is effect and the second one is list of object. It's saying as keys. It is like the what we say dependencies. So effect is taking a function which is again returning a function which is nullable. So that's why I was returning null before. So in this function, whatever we perform before this return works like init state, or not init state. It's dependent on this variable. Whenever the value of that changes, uh, it will rerun again. If we don't pass anything here, this will run only for the first time when the build method is called, and this function gets called when the build method is disposed, like this widget is disposed. This is the replacement for dispose method. Here we had the dispose method. So now uh, I want to get the list of subjects. So I will write local db dot instance dot. Okay, I think by mistake I made those variables functions like private. So I will just remove the underscore from here. Now you can get subjects, and this will return in future. So there's one basic concept here, that inside of init state we can't do asynchronous uh, like coding here inside this, because init state is meant to it is a life cycle method, and we don't know how long this will take to complete init state. We have very limited time, for very few milliseconds it takes the init state to complete, but the asynchronous calls can take longer. So that's why it won't allow us to await here. So for that reason, in the init state, how it works in the init state, it will also work in the same way in the use effect. So I need to create another function and call that function here. So we'll name it as get subjects. Also, one thing to note, whatever I'm using inside this use effect needs to be created before that. If I am calling this function over here, I need to place this function before that. If I write this function below the use effect in this place, it will give me the error. I'm just giving the return type as future of void. I don't want to return anything from here. I just want to change the value of this subjects list. So when we use state here, we can't directly use the value like the variable. We need to because this is if we hover, we can see it is a value notifier of list. Whatever we keep in use state, it becomes a value notifier of that. Value notifier is something native to Flutter package. It is based on the concept of set state only, but in a better implementation. It has some better implementation using the value notifier. So to change the value of subject list, in React we used to write set state function and used to pass the callback and then the new value. Here the syntax is a little different. We need to write subjects list dot value equals to the new value. So we are getting the list from here. If we await, we'll get this list. And then from the subjects list, I want to show the list view. Need to remove the const from here. I will add string trap as true, physics as never scrollable, item count as subjects list dot value dot length, and then the item builder. Here I will return suppose container, and then okay. So uh, we are not getting the list here. Let me check the issue. Let us print when it's updating. We are getting an empty list. I guess I haven't called this insert sample data over here. No, yes, it is called, but Razak, any idea why it's not giving the subjects? Hello. Razak, am I audible?
Query is correct. Maps getting these subjects, but check the insert function with
Yes. Second. Insert sample subject. This is insert into subject name values is mathematics. And this is the table ID and name. This auto increment, this is text. Should we try with other query again? Is this transaction is having some issues because previous one was also not working? But yesterday we used this one only. So we are also getting the subject ID here, but when we are doing the select query, it's not giving. Let me check like this. Razak, did you find anything?
I'm checking.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Actually, we don't work with the SQL, so that's why we have forgot some few things here. Need to check why it's not happening. But let's continue with the creating the UIs till Razak finds something. Instead of subjects thing here, I will use and then. So I have found a dribble like example design. We'll just implement the basic design here. I'm adding padding and margin. Font weight dot W600 and font size to 20. Then I will also set the cross-axis alignment to be start. Then I will add two more text here. One is topics. I will reduce the numbers here. So we won't be doing the exactly same design, but just that's just for the reference. And now, so I will just give the if I've shown this one, I will say how we can do create this. We can implement a grid view builder instead of this list view builder, and this is a one item inside the item builder. This is one item, and this can be created like one image inside a column, one image, then text, and then again text, and then inside in a row we have icon text, and in between we can give uh, the rows main axis alignment we can set as main axis dot space between main axis alignment dot space between, and then this we can create keep it in a single another row and this in a button like that. So now we have this UI created. So I want to have one more screen here, which is for topics. So instead of creating the screen now, I will create the list first. I'll copy this list only. I will copy the whole thing inside the build method and will just change the things. It will be topics list, get topics, this to get topics. Razak,
Yeah,
this
actually
one
it
we need to,
says,
yes,
yeah, tell me.
this one I think we need to pass the value of subject ID, right? Like for which
Yes,
subject I want to get the topic.
yes. The primary key of subject table.
Okay. Did you find anything for this one? Get subjects?
No, it's just telling us to make sure that the database is initialized correctly, but we have done that.
Yes.
It's okay
But
only
we also
from the
have the
yeah,
insert sample data correctly. We are also getting the ID here.
ID. Yes.
Let me search it once. Uh, Dear participants, can we take a break for like around 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Let us resolve this issue and then we can continue after 10 minutes from maybe it's 23 now. Let us continue at 35. Is that okay? Okay. Okay, thank you. Let us join sharply at 20:35. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. Bye. You can stay on the call, just you can take the break.